Hi, I'm Steve. Welcome to my shop. This is the second part of the series on sliding table saw purchase considerations. And in the first video, I covered some of the basic fundamentals. And I indicated that there would be 5 videos. After editing video number 1, it was just way too long. So in order to reduce the editing time for me, to make things easier for you to view and to be able to find the various topics, I think I'm going to break apart these 5 pieces that we talked about in the first video and make shorter segments for each of those portions. So in this video, I'm going to cover the power unit portion of the sliding table saw and considerations that you may have during your purchase. So let's get to it. In the first video on the slider purchase considerations, one of the basics was power versus blade diameter. And we talked a little bit about 3-phase power and single-phase power. For single-phase power machines, you'll typically be looking at a blade diameter of 10 to 12 inches with a horsepower ratings of roughly 4 horsepower to 5.5. That can vary, I'm sure, but I'm sure there's going to be an exception to what I say, whatever I say. Once you get beyond 12 inches, you're typically in the higher horsepower, the 5.5, the 7.5, 10 horsepower and up. So just be aware of that. Those, if you are looking at a saw like that and you don't already have 3-phase power, then you need to work 3-phase power into your budget consideration. Along with power, you'll also, there's a speed issue with respect to blade diameter. So in the 10 and 12-inch blade categories, which is 250 to 300 millimeter diameter, those will typically be single speed machines unless you get a variable frequency drive option. And a variable frequency drive option, I personally don't see much use for that in a slider, but that can vary depending upon the materials you're cutting. If you're using it to cut non-ferrous metals or plastics, you may very well want a variable frequency drive. But the materials that I use, I just don't have the need for that. Once you get beyond about 12 inches, that at a fixed speed that's suitable for a 10 or 12-inch blade, the tip speed on a larger diameter blade just gets too fast. So on those machines that will handle the larger blades, you'll typically see a pulley system that offers 3 speeds. And this machine has three speeds. To change it, I have to get under the machine, which I've typically got blocked with boxes and other stuff that gets in the way. So I've set my machine on the lowest speed that will handle a full range of blades that I use. Dado capacity. Because of the sliding table saw, at least the format sliding series, the table itself comes fairly close to the blade. As a result, in a normal dado stack that you would use on a cabinet saw, the stacking goes toward the arbor nut. Well, in that case, this weighs toward the arbor nut, and it's not long before you start contacting the lip of your sliding table, which is not a good thing. So as a result, in order to have dado capacity, you have to remove a spacer plate behind the blade so that your dado stack can grow toward the rip fence side. Depending upon the machine you're looking at, that may come the ability to do that may come standard. It may not be available at all, or it may be an option. So you need to determine whether you want or desire dado capacity on a sliding table saw before you order a machine, or if you're purchasing used, that's something to look at before you purchase the machine, if that is important to you. I would like to say one thing about dados on sliding table saws, and this will vary from make to make, because there are some the typical arbor you will see on most sliding table saws built in Europe, and I'm sure there are exceptions. You'll typically see a 30 millimeter arbor with 2 pins on it. And as a result, the blades, the center of them will look like this. They'll have a 30 millimeter bore with pinholes. And the pins are there to keep the blade from loosening when the saw breaks. Because of that, you have to have custom bore dado stacks. If you're using a stacked dado, that's a consideration to do, and not all tooling may be appropriate for that. So just be aware of that. So if you want a standard dado stack, I think there are probably a few saws that do have a 5/8 inch arbor that are available in North America. So the dado stack will work. That may lead you to one brand over another if that's important to you. I do not know how a 5/8 inch arbor saw will take anything greater than a 10 inch blade, because every 12 inch blade that I've ever seen has not had a 5/8 inch bore. It's had a 1 inch bore. And maybe there's some bushing or something that gets put in place to be able to do that. Okay, so that covers the main power head in the sliding table saw. If you do have any questions or comments or input, please feel free to post them. I'll do my best to answer them. And I'd also continue to encourage other people to provide answers as well. So I thank you for watching, and have a great day.